Good evening, folks. It's 22:48 on the 25th day, 4th month, 2023. So here we go. Not looking good, not looking good. You got about 3 weeks of wet coming for these islands here in the middle of nowheres. Yeah, New Zealand, the same old Zealand weather is coming to visit again in the Wakatani region, and it seems to be tonguing a bit north here toward these outlying islands as the tendrils kind of have a tendency to drag inland as they move by. Yeah, this is going to be another big event. And not understanding how they're holding off just this area here. Forgetting all these totals, it's not sensible. The only way I could see it is they're going to put a scalar square up here of energy. It's going to cover that area there and to cause the flows and divert them past into this direction here in the coming week. As your totals down on the southern coast down here are high. And I'm going to talk a little bit about those auroras you guys have been seeing. Chemical catalysts that we put in the skies from the chem. And the colors they often yield. And in relations to also to an experiment that was run at one point that so many of us observed and went, ah! And many of us knew it was sounding rockets straight away and releasing chemicals in the sky. So I'm gonna show you that a little bit. I'm gonna show you how you could cover an area with a vast amount of chem very quickly. And through a known method. And I'm going to wish you guys a hello and how you doing. And I hope you're having a good day. And it's very pleasurable to look at the 10-day totals here in that Cedar Swamp. Very, very pleasurable to see. It'll be drying out a bit. You expect some cooler air to start coming in a curve like this over about the next 2 weeks. And so you start seeing some cooler nights down here and the flow dynamics will change. You got one day coming up about a week or so now when your bad storms are coming with a big ass hot tongue of air is going to come down. And so that'll be only one night. But that's going to trigger a lot of storm dynamics for a few days when that occurs. So I'll be looking forward to seeing what geoengineer move they do. And will it be a big blast like this one? And around that time, the night after that, you guys started reporting some weird auroras. Yeah, you seen them straight off. You had to. All this energy that went down this polar region and all that chem lit it up like a candle. It absolutely did. And I'll get into that a little bit after that. After I show you at your current conditions, so that some of you people can just get on with it. So let me do some aimings that kind of bring us New Zealand in. You're going to hear sliding. It's the best I could do for now until I can straighten these signal issues out. You guys get my best, and that's all I can do. And that's the wall behind it. There we go. That's as much picture as I can get. And gee, isn't that an annoying picture? If I turn that a little bit, it'll stop. A little bit. Ray, what do we got going on here? Whoa, that just went all over the place fast. All right, I got all bombings going on. They're coming up through the cooks. Here we go. Let me get the cursor under control without cursing too many times. What do they call it cursing anyhow? Don't you have to do like magic to curse? I would call it words that other people don't like. Boom, 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 go to plugs, and the frying's going on over the middle here. Oh my, look at the microwaves here. Bzzz, speed it up. Those standing waveforms, up and down, staying in place. Right, them clouds ain't moved. Those are microwaves. It's never good for your earthquake, Chris. And they'll blast you right over the volcano over here. They're right over the main volcanoes here. Well, they popped a pimple this time because you got waves coming that direction, and you got a lot of dynamics and force from the front edge of this line of storms here. As it comes across, it smacks it. Yeah, because you got chemicals, ices, and stuff, and all that collides with the dynamics of a landmass itself, which causes a little bit of a shock in the land. Look at the crisscross spinner here. What are they making? One of them wheat cereals, dear? They lose their integrity after about a second in the milk anyhow. You might as well just crunch them up, eat them, have a nice glass of juice, and stay away from the, those hormones that are in the milk. Ooh, you look at what's in your milk, you might be like me. You start drinking your coffee black. A lot of standing waveforms through here. Can't just say that that's air natural movement over this island doing that. It usually does that direction. The dynamics between that strait usually doesn't naturally make those kind of lines. And some of these islands out in the Pacific and other places, you'll see them do lines like that just from the wind, and it can't happen. There's a few of them. It's very predictable. A big waveform coming down out of the sea. Here you see it just racing in front. It's a blast. Ooh. It's also a big amount of warm air meeting some of this mid-cold, which meets the real cold. And that equals not good at all. For the same old Zealand that keeps capping it. The copulates. Copulating the skies over the top of us. Then people call the cops and say, hey, we're capping it. And here you have another Mercedes-Benz symbol in the sky there. That's not natural. That's not caused by a mountain range or anything I would expect to see. That's a Chembombed deployed over the top of the people. And we got a skeleton face out here. Woo! Chembombed. Boom, boom, boom! What a plume out there. And it raced in towards the peaceful population of New Zealand who did no wrong. How are we looking up in the tropics? What are they brewing? Something that's coming your way is being held alive with Chembombs and microwaves. See the waveform? Influencing that cloud, making it into a square right down here in the low. Microwaves are doing that. Something's aiming at it. Bombs right here going off a whole field of them. 1, 2, 3, and another 3, and another 3, another 3, another 3. Gee, Robert, how can they cover this much area? How can that possibly be done? How can it possibly be done that they could come over here in a line and shoot off stuff on each side for a very long distance? A very long distance. How can that possibly be done? Well, let me show you. This is a C-130 aircraft. Look at the smoke trail it leaves behind. That's known as the Angel of Death. C-130. See how it drops too? It's not just going one direction. Can't tell me this can't be done. Planes and fireworks. Where's what this plane can do? Look at those red flares. Look at all these colors. Now you're going to see fireworks from a plane. See, he's got here on the tip. Some of those little flare things you see, they ain't so innocent as you might think. They ain't just shooting off a Roman candle. They have very predictable payloads and they can be fed. These are pyrotechnics, professionally done. Did you see that wing-mounted unit that this guy's got? See if we can catch a shot of it right there. This thing right here. Right there. Look at that. Look at that thing. Right on the tank right here. So spewing out some kind of a chemical in predictable fashion out of this thing here. Out of that thing here is something different. I can get a screenshot of that. You know, these things are being done. Planes can do a lot with these little nozzles. These little nozzles are not so innocent. When you see them small planes that could be doing. This is the number on this. This is a professional fireworks display. I told you guys to look up fireworks from airplanes. Now he's flying right through those bomb fields. Look what they can do. Look at the plane in front of this one. Hang on, I'll get it on the screen for you. Look at that plane right there. Look at how much it can do. Well, this one's doing that. They just fly on by and toxify your skies. These are chemicals in the sky These are toxiflyers. Look what they can do. It's at the end of the wing. See? It's the end of the wing. And and this was just called planes, fireworks, and 2,000 drones. World's first in Dubai. Yeah, just Google that. And you'll come up with that. This guy's stuff. I'm sorry if it's a little left. And that's where that came from. So you should check into that. And now, how would you determine what chemicals are in the sky if they were glowing? So to do that, you go down and you look up things. Here's about a release that was done in Scandinavia. The IRS scientific experiments with sound and rockets. And I'll leave these up here, so I'll go back at the end of the video and put the sources in here for you. Or you could just look these things up yourself. Questions and answers about the IRS scientific experiment is where they did the aluminum, barium, strontiums in the sky, but the aluminum they used was a trimethyl aluminum. That's some deadly shit. Deadly, deadly, deadly shit. Fireworks in the presence of electromagnetic frequency will vibrate to the point where it emits photons of light, and if they'll glow certain colors. You know, copper and strontium will go purples. Coppers, aluminum salts, irons, bariums. Yeah. So you go looking at this guy. There's other things like barium that'll go green as well. Your oxygens. Gotta be honest about it. So when you go look at some of the auroras we've been having lately, and I see some of these colors that are clearly of the barium range, of the sulfur range, and would be the oxygen range there. It wouldn't. You'd have to go look. See, that's a great big red one. It's possibly strontium, and we know they use strontium because I seen it right here in this experiment they ran in Scandinavia. And we'll see if we could find this again. See, this one was about a trimethyl aluminum can irritate the nose, throat, lungs, causing coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. All right, so that one that they used in their experiment with Scandinavian sounding rockets is this article here. There were lots of pictures in it. And it talked about that they used this chemical in the sky. And there's the colors it yielded that day. Now, when I went back into search, you see some other shots of this experiment that went on. Well, this was seen all the way to the UK. You're like, it's aliens, it's aliens. No, those were, as the rocket went up, its different stages had different chemicals in it. So it left a different trail as it went up. Using sounding rockets. They leave a very distinct trail. So it wasn't aliens that day. It was 4 records. And it left huge plume that they then excited with the Haarp type facilities they have in Scandinavia. Jim Lee did a fantastic video on it called Chemtrails from Space. And I suggest you find it. Hey Jim, where are you? Answer emails. Yeah. Well, you better come back with a great site again. Last time you went off the map, you came back with Climate Viewer. Love you, dude. Big love. So you see, it can be done. It has been done. And I suspect you've been seeing evidence of Haarp experiments, especially this one very, very dramatic shot I've seen is, see if we can find it. This one here in particular. Now, if a bomb went off over the top of you and was descending its particles down upon you, that's what it would look like when it was glowing in the atmosphere. It wouldn't be like a ribbon like that going by and flowing. That's coming straight at him. In the description the guy had, he said it floated by. He said a huge red aurora traveled across the sky, visible with the naked eye. Naked eye. While a spectacular one exploded. Just exploded above his head. What does that sound like a description of? He sounds like he's describing a Chembombed deployment. It sounds like he's describing Chembombs. He's describing stuff that can be done by man. And whether it's in a method like this, with the fireworks by planes, look at that. And the end of this plane. Hey, you think those can't be bought? They're not being sold by somebody to be rigged up and they're not in private hands? You're fooling yourself. With people that get billions of dollars to spend to get trillions, he'll buy a few of those and to do a lot of this. And this is between Fink and Birdsville here, getting Chembombed. Today, right now. This is falling out over Australia. And that image is current as of 1 hour ago. So you're being poisoned. You have chemical catalysts in your sky. And as they play in with the Haarp and the big beams, lighten you up, you're going to see molecular excitation will yield photons. Because we're seeing it. And I do suspect that was a Chembomb glowing in a microwave plasma. Or making a plasma in the microwave soup of a great big beams that we keep documenting day in and day out as the chemical catalyst that help propagate the waveforms, aluminum, barium, and strontium in particular, trimethyl aluminum, which is very toxic to our respiratory systems of all animals that I know of. There's a big deuce in your sky, the number 2. They have fireworks with number 2 on them. When they just lobbing anything that's got the right chemical on it, that's been built up. They're just buying and, okay, let's use that one, let's use that one, let's use that one, let's use that one, let's do this, let's do that. Let it descend, let it fall out. Let them blast you up, down, sideways. And they even call it the angel of death. Angel wing flare pattern. We all call it the angel of death. Because they wouldn't want to breed that crap. I wonder what this guy's doing in a paid firework display. You think this can't be... You think those little flares in his sight will be just like Roman candles? I always thought they were. But they're not. They're not at all. These guys can do some incredible aerobatics, pyrotechnics can go on with these planes. Chembomb's sick. Look what that thing can do. Oh my God, he's right. And they're doing this over the tops of us. They're doing this every day. And I'm showing it to you going on right now. Over Port Hedland, visiting Australia from international waters. Have a Chembomb. Have some microwaves. Have it without your permission. In a world where people's health is sold as something we should try to obtain, I think healthy air is a God-given right. And if we can show that there's toxification going on because of the United Nations of corporations against us, and that our nations and souls are corporations united against us, then it's time for us to unite against the corporations and boycott the corporations themselves. And the government and the countries are the corporations that need the full boycotting, as they've done the big wank sack over Australia again. And they're working a law around the corner, and it's going to cream some people along these coastlines. Animals with the microwaves will have their navigation systems disrupted. And let's hope we don't see any of my big gentle giants beaching upon the shores of these islands as these storms go past. Straight edge of circulation much? Chembomb much? See it? It's not a round funneling system. Star formation, rudimentary sprag clutches. I explained this stuff to you before. Today I just showed you some of the chem deployment methods that make it possible to yield what our eyes are seeing. Bateman's Bay, Chembomb. Look at this. Well, it's Bremer Bay, excuse me. Look at that big square thing there. Look at all that crap here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom! Going the plumes over the great Australian Bight, taking a bite out of the heart of the world every time it does this. That ain't a circulation. These are Chembombed deployments fueling a storm. There's the lead edge on the low deck that butts against that. And when those two make contact, things are about to get interesting up there. Here's where it'll strip that moisture off. That's where that'll just roll right on over there. And this thing does a hell of a diversion. Watch. Watch the straight. Hello. Let's just lean right in. Just lean it right in as that pulse on the low deck comes over. Pushing it over. Pushing it out. Pushing one out. Passing gas over the top. You water pushing it out. The big square over here is not a naturally occurring cloud formation. If you believe that is, you're out of your mind. Check yourself into the funny farm. If you have testicles, you're a man. If you have a vagina, you're a woman. And these are Chembombs. That is all. See that big waveform come across the top? That's what I'm looking at here. It's really hazy. It's very high up microwaves there. You know, with whatever's up there, you know, wave just stays there, staying in waveforms. Like you see when the tide goes out on the shore. The waves just leave things in certain areas. They just hamming it on. A sympathetic vibration with the molecule next to it. It'll drag it right on along. You'll have just these nice peaks and troughs. Peaks, troughs. And Chembombs. Crossing the border over here, the robe. Little Bay, you probably have something. It's Little Bay. We have to have posh name. Eden Hoppa, Hoppe, Kieta. Hey, key. Boom, boom, boom. Hello, can there's some fallout you're breathing? Passing gases. A whole lot of disease is what Chem is bringing. Their weather's crappy. They make it crappy. Getting the point? What a fucking shame. And now, for what they say, he's gonna go on. Dramatic looking with all those lines, eh? I want you to see the winds as they're rocking the shores. As it moves along into the bight, it hugs along the chem line and rides that existence of beams. And the fuel of the bombs leaving it behind. The wiper curves in, sweeps that ahead as the low follows and it should die south. That should just become like a non-factor and nothing. But it looks good as it's coming around the soda. It sells a lot of milk and bread. Batteries, you know, people think there's a disaster. Certain industries that sell their commodities and they count on them. So they could spend the money to make a storm. Just to make a storm full of money. Oh, it is. We have some action coming down out of the tropics. These two are going to kiss right in New Zealand there, right off the shore. And it's going to be some bad times for Ridgemont High. That's for sure. Now around the 28th to 29th is going to get interesting. When the flow comes to this side of this low, it's going to kick shit in here in the inland. And that's when southern New South Wales coastal area is going to see some action. It just has to happen. That big electrical wire of energy. Whew. And there'll be some tongues of cold air moving in between layers, going up and interacting and all that. And hard burden of the skies going on, and the whole just abomination of the Obama administration of it all. And Big Mike comes to town swinging the big dick of his storm, and it's going to piss it down in New Zealand. And there's a date of note. When the tide's coming in like that, and the storms are offshore, and the moon's in just the right position, the fuckery's going to be high. And I'm not sure what your tide table is that day, so you will be vigilant for yourself as we're looking at right now about Monday, your time, very late at night. And Auckland gets the smackaroos, just smack, 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 smack. And we're not talking Scooby snacks. We're talking the Geo Schmack. The Bill Gates Foundation's come to town. He's selling an agenda with your wallet to take. And he doesn't give a shit. He don't even show up at your wake. So we better start to shout. And we better start to cry. Because if we don't, too many things are die. Agenda 2030 is coming to your town. Master plan. Agenda 2030 is coming to your town. You say no to some things, say yes to others. And while there's another very critical moment for New Zealand, here at that timestamp down in the corner, holy mother of pearl, yielding totals of which are not stopping. And expect these numbers to actually rise. I'm calling near 0.5 meter for this area. What did he just say? I just said it. During this big event that's coming onwards in the next 14 days, you're going to see huge totals here. It's going to get bad. You poor folks, you must need some new infrastructure for the master plan that you said no to. But if somebody's in line to pay for it, it's okay, I'll pay for that. Why? Because the data's being sold by somebody. The monitor's being sold by somebody. The test that went out in the UK was done by a company that the Prime Minister's wife has a vested interest in. The administering of the failed test that took all those millions which now needs to be taken back. The backhanders of all the corporations that seem in bed, literally, married to the politicians in charge. I had a causing harm across my entire planet. You have just seen your weather, whether you like it or not. Big love. Peace.